why people are quitting Lost Ark. Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna take a look at the reason why people are quitting Lost Ark. Obviously the game has lost quite a bit of players since its initial boom with the release, and that's quite normal. However, I wanted to read a couple of articles from people that have quit the game or that are upset to see where they went wrong or maybe where the game went wrong. We're gonna analyze this together because it's important for us to see if there's something we can do about it, or if there's something that is just a normal course or misunderstood by players, etc. Before we begin, I would just like to say a huge thank you to those of you who voted in my Stronghold contest that I held earlier this week. I've sent the money to Gizmerelda, which actually won by a mile. I'm looking forward to doing more of these Stronghold visits and reviewing your plots with possibly bigger prizes in the near future. Yeah, cool. Let's just dive into the first article right here. I'm gonna read all of it, but you're gonna see the most important parts. About to quit after seeing how much this game is pay to win. Posted on the official forums. This person is saying that I've been playing the game for a month. I'm currently in tier 3 with 1331 gear score. A month, 13 days ago when this article was posted, having played for a month at that time means he started with free to play. So most likely a brand new player to the game, doesn't know anything about it. I would say for that kind of a player without any help from the outside, maybe he doesn't watch any videos either, 1331 is a good gear score to reach after 4 weeks in an MMO.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Like, what do you guys think? 1331's easy. Yeah, it's like you can get there for sure. Like, that's not bad or anything. I think it's like the more problem is like the release schedule. That's what really makes a difference. And yeah, he could have a job, which is going to decrease your item level by a lot.
Continues to say that he has lost all of his resources, or not lost but spent all of his resources to get there, and he is very upset that some people already have 400,000 gold in their bank. I can tell you that with an absolute minimum knowledge of Lost Ark, which is like a bare absolute minimum after watching maybe 2 videos 10 minutes each, you can most likely be around 1340 as a completely free-to-play player and still have about 20,000 gold in your bank at this moment. He continues to say that the only people who are able to play the new content, and by new content he most likely means Argos, are those who put in a lot of money in the game or who received it from viewers.
So he's been watching my stream. That's really where we're at. So this guy has been watching my stream and he's not happy about it. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise one bit or another. But like, this is really what people do. I mean, they see that, they get pissed off, and they make posts like this all the fucking time.
If you're that kind of a person that gets jealous on streamers like Asmongold who receive...
See, like, he knew exactly, what he was talking about. Like, everybody knows, it's like, oh, whenever streamers get a lot of gold. No, everybody knew exactly who it was that he was talking about. Let's just say it, get it out in the open, and move on.
Every single honing material and gold needed to get to 1400 in a matter of days, then that's just on you, really. You cannot be jealous of people receiving gifts in the game. At the same time, you cannot be jealous that a game in general allows for people to send each other materials or have some tradable mats. A game who doesn't care about the gear is a game like Guild Wars 2, for example, which is a fantastic choice for people who cannot stand the fact that there is a sort of gear progression that can make you money or that can take money from you, depending what kind of a player you are. And new content for people, or exclusively for people who put money into the game? Absolutely not. I have so many friends who haven't spent a single dime. Not one dime. That's not me. I've spent some money on the game, buying all sorts of crazy, stupid stuff from the cash shop. Not gear enchantment materials, but who would believe me? However, I have so many friends who haven't spent a dime on the game, and they are
that's definitely true.
Do Argos. They are at 1370. Myself, I'm also at 1370, and I can be at 1385 or even 1390 in a matter of 2 hours, because I have most of the mats already stacked up. I'm just not enchanting. I'm taking a break. Maybe I'm selling some mats if the price is good at the moment. The same way as I took a break at 1340, just laying there and selling some mats at a very high price, which have now crashed, and now I'm possibly buying those mats back at half the price. So, you know, listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand what are two good engravings in Lost Ark, but it does take
That's true.
time and effort in order to flip items on the auction house, to always camp, to set up your right searches so you can be really
Well,
fast.
that's like a lot of knowledge. Like this happens with every new game. That's why if you play the beta, it really helps you out a lot. Is because like you know what to do. There are a lot of games that like if you know what to do early in the game, you have huge advantages. Like that's I think a big one for that is Path of Exile. Like there are people that play the market in Path of Exile, and that's how they make like a mirror's worth of currency in less than a month, or sorry, less than a week, because they're just playing the market. They know what's going to be cheap on release, and they know how it's going to go up in value, and then they buy it and sell it accordingly. That's just always how things go.
Someone places an item there with 2,000 gold, great engravings, you buy it, you sell it right away with 5. You've just made 3,000 gold that can help you get from 1331 to 1340. It takes 2 weeks to get from 1330 to 1370, assuming you're playing that one character to its fullest, assuming you're gathering, assuming you're spending a lot of time in the game, and especially now with these events, with the PvP merchant being there, with the extra Guardian raids also giving you gear enchantment material, it shouldn't take you more than 2 weeks. And to be fair, to be a brand new player from 1331, 2 weeks from now, so a month and a half, to be able to play the end content in 6 weeks after an MMO's release as a player who knows nothing about Lost Ark, I say that's a good thing.
So I agree with that. I think the problem that people have, like, yeah, that because that's definitely true. A post is 2 weeks old. Wait, so 2 weeks is a lot of bullshit? Like, 2 weeks of doing the same shit every day, how is it any good? It seems fair. Yeah, but I think the difference is like you pay to win, right? That's really what the difference is. For a lot of this stuff, it's that people pay to win and other people get the advantage faster. So it doesn't matter about it being reasonable for like a casual player to get there, because a pay to win player gets there faster. It's like the logic behind it is worse than the reality. It's kind of like how in Titan Forging and WoW, where it would feel really bad whenever somebody got a piece of gear that was better than yours, but it's like, it's just logic, right? That's the way things go. It doesn't really prevent you from doing content, but it still makes you feel bad. Now, I think it's kind of like a game feel thing.
I'm not trying to make excuses for Lost Ark having the option to deposit real money and speed up your progression like that. But even with this rushed release that we had so far, where there's a lot of peer pressure and a lot of incentives to make you feel that you should deposit real money just because some people have reached the higher ceiling in terms of enchanting your gear to access Argos Phase 3, 1400 or whatever.
I think that's the problem that people are worried about, and that's the one thing that, like, from now on, Amazon needs to make sure doesn't happen. And I can also guarantee you that, like, it doesn't matter how long they can wait until next year to bring out Vaulton, and there's still going to be people complaining that it's too early or they don't have the item level for it yet. Like, there's always going to be people that aren't caught up. But I think to a certain extent, they need to be more careful about making sure that they don't release something too early without giving people necessary or sufficient amount of materials to get there without feeling like they have to spend real money. That's what the issue is.
Even so, you can begin your latest content in a matter of 6 weeks from the moment you start playing, and that's for a free-to-play player at that. The next article I want to discuss is called "Why I Decided to Quit Lost Ark After Having 3 Characters in Tier 3 and Having Completed the Most."
I can tell you why. It's because you have 3 characters in Tier 3. You burned yourself the fuck out. How the fuck do you have 3 characters in Tier 3? Oh my god. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Recent Argos content. The person is saying that he hit Tier 3 playing 3 weeks or so. That's really fast to hit Tier 3 content, and that's a nice job. And several things came flooding into my brain as realizations. If I wanted to actually continue playing difficult and engaging content, I would have had to look for a guild. That's what's the big deal there. I mean, I guess some people just like to be lone wolves. In that case, you don't have to look for a guild. You can also look at the party matching tool, and you can whisper people, talk to them in the party chat there, get some insight in into whether they know the mechanics or what gear they have, etc. So it's not mandatory, or you are stuck with pugs and barely any method of checking who is actually capable of doing something. Yeah, joining a guild is definitely very important. Once you join a guild, you are set to be a person that has to follow some sort of expectations in terms of how well your character is progressing. I've personally never had that problem ever. Joining the right guild for you is always the best choice. If you join a mega hardcore world progression guild or a whale guild, then you're gonna get kicked, obviously, because they don't want you there.
Exactly. And I think that's what happens is some people want to join a guild where everybody is like really well geared, but then it's like there are people that basically they want to join a guild where everybody else works really hard except them. So like they're like, yeah, I want to be in a guild that like clears stuff really fast and everybody's like really good, they know what they're doing, and then they come in and everybody else is putting in 100% and they're putting in 70, and then they get mad whenever people don't want them, right? And so I think it is really important, like if he's never had that problem, I think this is a problem for sure, is that the expectations will be put on you to do certain things, but I don't really have that problem a lot either because I look to play with people that are that have the same mindset as me. And I think there's a lot of people that want to or believe that they are like entitled to have better players play with them or carry them in content. And I think that's what happens.
They cannot play with you. If you want to keep up the pace with hardcore and semi-hardcore players and be able to play decently challenging content with people who have some brain cells, you will have to play several alts, do the daily grind on each and every single one of them, or pay with your wallet. If you
really, is that true? Like, I feel like I haven't had that many bad experiences in Lost Ark in general. Like, whenever I've just clicked the matchmaking button. Like, I'm not talking about, like, making pugs on my stream, but, like, just in general. Like, I haven't really had a lot of bad experiences in general. You got boosted? Well, how do I get boosted in matchmaking, though? Like, we wiped on some of these bosses for an hour. How's that getting boosted? Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, it's like it makes no sense. Streamer experience is different? Yeah. No, it's not. If I click the matchmaking button, it's the same as anybody else clicking the matchmaking button. The people there weren't watching my stream. They were just clicking the matchmaking button too. It's the same exact thing. I guess it's like, it's a mixed bag, right? Because like, I'm sure sometimes you'll get a group. It's like, I have this, like, because I farm the Night Fox Yoho like every day. And sometimes the kills will take 2 minutes. Sometimes they'll take 10 minutes. Because people just don't know how to do damage and they suck. Like, you get sniped in matchmaking? What do you mean? There's no snipers in matchmaking? Clueless? Stream sniping queues, it happens in every MMO you play? You really think your popularity in itself doesn't advertise your post? There's no post. There's no post. You click the matchmaking button and it automatically assigns you 3 other random players. Whenever I had the 3 other random players assigned to me, none of the 3 of them were watching my stream. This is what I did for my first hard modes whenever Oriza, I got 1370. Just go watch the VOD. Why, what is going on here? It's different in Lost Ark as well, since you can't queue from anywhere like in WoW. Yeah, have you done Abyssal Raid with random matchmaking? Yes. Yeah, I have. It's just, people are saying something, it's just not true. It's just so annoying, man. People are saying people watching your streams are hitting matchmaking at the same time as you to get grouped up with you in the dungeon. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Like, it didn't happen. The people that I played with, like, they weren't watching the stream.
Want to keep up with the hardcore players, that means you have some needs that should make you also hardcore. And if you want to keep up with someone who's hardcore and plays 12 hours a day, and you cannot play that time, then maybe you should lower your expectations to a point where you can keep up with those people. The idea of...
Yeah, I think that happened a lot in Classic WoW. Like, a big example of this in Classic WoW is people would want to join guilds that got all of the world buffs, and they were really serious about buffing and everything like that, and then they wouldn't do it themselves, or they wouldn't put in all of the effort themselves. It's like you have to find a guild that has the same level of mentality that you do. And I think that if you join a guild and you don't fit in with that guild, you should try to find another guild that fits in with you. because like the problem is people join a guild and then they don't conform to the way the guild behaves, and then they get mad about it. That's not their fault. That's not the guild's fault. That's their fault. You shouldn't have joined the fucking guild. Yeah, they want the result without putting in the effort. Exactly.
Of 20 years ago, everyone is equal because 20 years ago we were 15 as opposed to 35 years old. That's an idea from the past. If you want to be hardcore, then be hardcore. But if you want to be casual and keep up with the hardcore players, I believe that's just an unfair thing to blame maybe the game for. And also it's not healthy for your mental health to always feel compelled to keep up with someone hardcore, because in your brain you're also hardcore, but in reality you're not, because you're on 2.5 hours a day. I am not going
Bro, real shit, no cap on a stack. Ain't that the fucking truth? Oh my God, like that's what it is. People, the thing is, like, I had to admit this to myself, right? It's like after a while, like I had to admit, like, listen, I don't have the time to play the game the same as I used to, right? I can't be as serious as I used to be. And I wanted to pretend like, oh no, that's not the case. That's not the case. You still do what you want to do. But the fact is that you get older, you have more responsibilities, you have other stuff to do, and you can't go quite as hard as you used to, man. Yeah, that's all. You to stream all day? Exactly, I stream all day. That's my whole point. I'm streaming all day. I can't waste my fucking time farming out bullshit that's boring. I gotta entertain you guys. That's the whole point. Yeah, my point exactly. And then you fall off. Yeah, you fall off that way. That's exactly what happens. And that's life.
To grind content I don't enjoy, do a lot of adventure tomes, press G 5 million times just so Smilegate or Amazon can randomly decide that maybe the next content release will have an item level I haven't yet managed to get. Now,
it's like, I mean, what he's saying is like, it's so true. You know what I mean? Like, it's so true, but at the same time, it's really fucking funny whenever somebody actually says it. Yeah, I love it.
I admit that our release so far has been rushed. Lost Ark's intention, as it is a lovely game and a game that really wants to be inclusive to the majority, not to everyone that's playing an hour a day, but to the majority of active players, Lost Ark should be inclusive, and that's what they're striving for. In the latest post on the official website, they did admit that it was a bit rushed, that people were not ready to enter 1370 at the time when 1370 was a thing. If they would have just left the hard mode of the Abyss dungeons, which are also 1370, people would be far less incentivized to deposit real money, just because there is no new content. The first Abyss raid, something extraordinary, Argos, let's get there. There is no 1415 to get to, or 1400 so you can do all the stages, so much less incentive for people to try to keep up with the whales like this person seems to be trying, right? So I admit our release was rushed, but at the same time, with feedback and with the recent communication from Amazon, future releases will be there. Future releases of content in terms of item level increases will be there when the active majority is going to be ready. At least that's what they said, and I can tell you, and I've always told you this for years already, that Lost Ark wants to have everyone be able to access. Same as Argos should have come when most active players would be 1370 to let them.
I think that's what people are so paranoid about now. And like, it's going to take a while. Like, no, the thing is, like, there's probably, here's what's going to happen. This is what I'm assuming is going to happen, is that the normal mode is going to follow the average progression curve of a casual, like a semi-casual, semi-hardcore player, like half and half, like 14, 15. I feel like if you're semi-casual, semi-hardcore, half and half, you'll probably hit 14, 15 if you're playing regularly for the next month. Like, you probably will. Unless, like, you get extraordinarily unlucky or, you miss a lot of things, right? I think most people will probably hit that are, half casual, half hardcore. But 1445, that's a whole different fucking story. Hitting 1445 is insane. Like, I don't think that's going to happen for a lot of people except like the super hardcore players and the Omega whales.
Start Argos, and then the whales are going to get to 1400, right? That's no problem. Or
Yeah.
the popular streamers which receive gold for free. That's fine.
Disgusting.
But at least most
Absolutely
people can
disgusting.
start Argos, and then the whales are going to get to 1400 or finish all 3 phases and just wait there. While the normal players, free-to-play players, are going to take a bit more time, a couple of more weeks to get to stage 2 and then so on, but at least everyone's involved in the most recent content, with the most recent drops, with the attractive things that people sell on the auction house for 20, 40, 100k, which the previous person was mentioning. So I'll give you that. But if you are forced to grind content you don't enjoy, which is the content in Lost Ark, then maybe this game is not for you. It's as simple as that. I personally don't...
I think that's the same with any MMO. Like, if you don't like grinding for content and you don't like those types of progression cycles, maybe playing an MMO isn't the right option. Like, that's just straight up the truth. Like, there's a lot of people who... It's like, this is what happened in Wrath of the Lich King, I think, with WoW. Is that WoW tried to expand the audience of the game into people that don't like MMOs fundamentally, and that caused so much trouble. That caused so many problems. And I think also, like, it's not good for anybody if you're playing something that you don't enjoy. Like, obviously, whenever you play a video game, and like you play an MMO or an RPG, there are going to be parts of the game that you don't necessarily enjoy. Whether this is like small things like running back from a boss fight whenever you die, larger things like repairing your gear, limited durability on things. There's always going to be things that are not ideal in terms of the player experience because the developers feel like this is something that needs to add permanence or significance to certain things in the game. I think some of them are valid, some of them are not valid. There's a spectrum, though, exactly. And these things exist on a spectrum. But what I will tell you is that if you are spending most of your time doing something that you don't enjoy, you actively don't enjoy. Because for me, there are some things that I do in the game. It's like, I don't necessarily enjoy this, but this is just a brain dead activity that I'm doing while I'm watching a video on my second monitor. Right? It's not really a big deal. It's almost relaxing in a way. But I'm talking about things that you actively dislike and genuinely don't do. That's the kind of stuff that I think they should just get rid of. Like, just like stop doing this. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop making this part of your life. Move on and do something that you enjoy. That's what I think. Like, what do you guys think about that? I feel stupid for grinding or something you can buy, and even more stupid for paying $1,000 for a fucking game. I think that's the truth. Yes, exactly. Because people have, like, it's very easy for somebody to say, I make $15 an hour and I can spend $30, let's say, and save 10 hours. It's better for me to work at my real job and then spend the money on the game. But then whenever you tell yourself that, you're like, wait a minute, why am I this fucking idiot that's spending money on the game? What the hell's wrong with me? That's the difference.
Like
It's
either
crazy.
everything in Lost Ark, but if I don't like it, then I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
If I don't like to play more than one class, I'm just gonna play one class. But with that one class, I would maybe play 10 hours before having an expectation to keep up with the hardcore player. Anyway, maybe this person is not really used to playing MMOs. In general, I would have to say that Lost Ark for a Korean game, and this is without defending Lost Ark.
For a Korean game. Uh-oh. Yep, here we go. Let's go.
Stark, because I really don't mind. People's opinions
Yeah.
are people's opinions. The game is not for everyone. I'm saddened that they feel this way, but it is what it is.
It is what it
Guild
is.
Wars 2 is for some people that are maybe a little bit more laid back, more casual,
Yeah.
don't want to get through this grinding, or maybe World of Warcraft is for some, or Final Fantasy, right? For
Yeah.
people who enjoy more of this and less of that. There's many out there. But I wanted to say that Lost Ark for a Korean game is not that punishing, not that grindy when you really narrow it down. The gear doesn't break, for example, when you enchant it, or
like
you don't
PDO.
go back a level, same as other Korean-made MMOs were in the past. Also,
Well,
in terms of-
even Western MMOs used to be like this. I think, again, like I said this yesterday, is that a lot of people think, oh, well, games now don't respect your time. Old MMOs not only did not respect your time, but they actively disrespected your time, and the players used that as a badge of honor. It's like not only like they're like, please disrespect me more. It's like some fucking BDSM relationship with the developers of Ultima Online of how much can you waste how many levels can you take away from me? How much of my gear can you break? Like, it's just crazy. I don't understand it at all. Like, what is wrong with you?
Of stuff that you get in game, right?
Yeah.
Literally to be 6 weeks into playing an MMO, from the get-go, from the start, from the bare bones of it, and to be ready for the latest content, same as it is my example, which I haven't again focused necessarily on honing and on gear. I've done my stuff, but I haven't put extra effort into it. I was more focused on other things, and many other people who you see them running around either close to being at 1370 for Argos, or maybe even have surpassed.
Oh, people are hitting
but if
it
your
now.
only goal and concern is the item level of your character, I personally believe that's the wrong way of playing Lost Ark. And
nah, bro, I disagree with that. I think that like it is not the wrong way, because the game literally says this is what the goal is. Like, you can't put a goal out there and then say, like, listen, like, if you want to beat the content that's coming out in the game, like, you have to be this level. And then it's like, well, trying to get to that level doesn't matter. Like, well, then why is it that level? Right? Like, how does this work?
if it's allowed in the game because of the game, then that's a way of playing it. But in my opinion, you shouldn't abandon gear score just because you're somehow inferior to someone who has more gear score than you. That's definitely not the case. But at the same time, leaving peer pressure end here, and from here on out, it's your zone. What do you want to do in the game? And there's also a bit of peer pressure that stays here, and that's a good thing. You will get item level, you will get gear score. You're not inferior just because you're at 1340 compared to someone that's at 1395.
Oh yeah,
that person could have purchased his gear. So that doesn't make them a better player or a smarter player or a more skilled player. It just makes them a player that has done other things. What have they done? Maybe they played 12 hours a day. Maybe they played 6 to 7 alts.
Well, maybe they're good at the game too, like, or they just got lucky. Like, there are people, like, this is what happens in a lot of games, right? Is like, you get an item, like this happened in Classic WoW. If you got Edge Master's gauntlets, you just got your epic fly, you just got your epic mount. Like, that's it. Some people just get really, really lucky. And yes, or some people, imagine this, they stream.
Maybe they deposit real money. We cannot know, right? But at the same time, what's important is for you, this zone right here, so you can be happy playing this game. That's what I did from the beginning of the game, and I'm quite happy with my item level. I'm quite happy with the fact that I can do all of the content in the game. I'm happy with what I have achieved so far for my account and for my heart, for my passion to play this game and be happy in it. Very happy with everything that I have so far, and I've also just somehow passively kept up with gear score to a point where I'm allowed to do everything.
Exactly, and I think that's, well, obviously he's going to be able to do that because he's played the game for so long. You know what I mean? Like, he's played the game, like, he played the game in, like, I think it was like Russia or Korea, I forgot which one. So, like, obviously, like, he knows what to do. But I think there's a lot of new players, especially coming into it, don't really understand that. I just hope that, like, really, whenever new content gets released, there's at least a version of the content that a casual player can approach and do. I think that, like, having, like, for example, right now, if you are trying to, like, hypothetically hone your gear to, like, towards 1490 right now, you are a fucking moron. Like, there is literally no reason to do that. Like, people that are trying to hone to 1490 are just dumbasses, and we will be doing that pretty soon after we finish this video. Maybe look at something else. Like, yeah, so we are going to get, so I've got some leap stones. I farmed them out yesterday, and we got some more upgrades to do today. It's going to be fucking insane. guys, like, I am so fucking ready for this. This is gonna be amazing. Like, I'm gonna hit every single one I farmed about. That's right. Well, no, I actually did. Like, I actually did. Like, I had to go and do like the boss rush thing again. I got some more stones, and then we'll have to farm out some more too after that. But yeah, I think so.
Has to offer, and in future things will only get better, according to Amazon and Smilegate with their most recent announcement.
Exactly.
They're trying to keep the pace of the player, and that's what Lost Ark is all about. So I have high hopes for the future. I always advised my audience to play however it makes you happy, and passively they still sort of keep up with gear. But it's
I think this is like I don't know if it's like this in the other parts of the world because I don't live there. I think that with a lot of cases. I completely distracted myself. You guys totally fucking distracted me. Fuck.
Things that make them happy. And
right. So this is what a normal person does. They're walking down the sidewalk and they see some dog shit in the grass. They see some dog shit in the grass. They walk by it and they go about their day. This is what a lot of people here do on the internet, is that they are walking down the sidewalk, they see the dog shit, they say, what the fuck is that? That is disgusting. They get down on all fours, they start rolling around in the dog shit, they get it all over themselves. They're like, oh my god, I'm so fucking dirty. This is disgusting. I hate this. Oh my god. Why did somebody put this here? And that's what they do. That's the way people deal with things on the internet. That's the way. Just, if you don't like it, just stop fucking watching it. Stop fucking doing it.
Passively, they still sort of keep up with gear, but it's not their obsession on a daily basis to check YouTube. Who is the highest item level right now? Did he spend 5,000 or 19,000 euros on his 4 perfect engraving? So, MMOs in general.
Depends on if it was Rich or Nick. Yeah, there it is.
Doesn't matter if it's Lost Ark or if it's Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy. Gear in those games is just part of the whole story. There's other things in every MMO that can be enjoyed and that should be enjoyed. We've forgotten this. Apparently in 2022, we only care about the gear score. That's it. That's all that matters. And in some games, it's easier to get that gear score. In some games, it's not, right? But at the same time, those games that have easy gear score are not the most popular games out there. So people are not necessarily looking for that.
Well, people want to have something to work towards as long as it's not something that other people can buy a fast track to. I think that's the difference. Is like a lot of people want to have a game that has like a long form progression system. My favorite thing about Lost Ark is the fact that you need good gear to get better gear. Because that's one of the main things I liked about WoW, because it made me feel like every step that I made to progress my character actually mattered. Whereas like now in Warcraft, I don't ever feel like what I'm doing matters. Because it's like I'm just constantly building a castle on sand, and then fucking, Ian comes over every 6 months or so, or let's be more realistic, every year or so, and he just rolls around in it and fucking ruins it again. Just ruin it again. Again and again and again.
People don't even know what they're actually looking for, but I recommend you to, I don't know, relax, I guess is the word that I would like to use. Don't be obsessed with things. You will also in no time be there as long as you enjoy the game. But if you don't enjoy playing most of the things that help you in Lost Ark with your gear progression, so you can help the stated cause of keeping up with a hardcore guy or a baby whale out there, right? And getting to do the last content. Then if you just don't enjoy playing the game either, then obviously might not be for you in that case. I wish you lots of love. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you in my next one. Until then, take care and stay safe.
All right, I think that was pretty much fair. Yeah, sure. What do you guys think? Like, I do think there's a lot of people who go out of their way to like get mad about that kind of stuff and like everything. Yeah, it's a good video. Yeah, sure. I think that again, as as time goes on, there's going to be less people that act this way and get mad about it, because those people will have moved on to the next game, and then they're going to complain about that one after that. So yeah, did I watch the Korean whale video? No, because it's in Korean. So I don't really speak Korean, and that's what the problem is. This video helped me with my anxiety. I don't know why. It brought me a little peace. Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of people that you always feel like you have to keep up with the rat race, okay? And I think that's just the way that the culture is, right? That's the main thing. Check subtitles. I don't want to have to read out the subtitles and read them while I'm watching the video. I just find that weird. Reason I stopped playing is Lost Ark started to feel like a job. I feel like every MMO is like that. Yeah, every MMO probably is like that. And the thing is also Final Fantasy, I would say, is probably not like that. But people pick up Final Fantasy and then they drop it later on. So it's effectively the same thing, even if it's not, if that makes sense, right? It's like you have the same general thing happening where you're playing a game for a long time, you finish the content, and then you move on. I think it's just that simple. That's what makes sense to me. And let's look over here. Final Fantasy XIV is literally a job? Oh, that's actually a good point. I never thought of that. Once free-to-play players can no longer make gold due to everything down to 1 gold and barely able to press the home button, they will realize how much pay-to-win this game is. The funny thing is that this guy made this comment 7 days ago, and it's already coming true. That's a fucking good one right there. Holy shit.